that's worth anything is easy. Corey is here tonight. And like the Army he loves, like the America he serves, Sergeant First Class Corey Remsburg never gives up, and he does not quit. Corey.
It was the longest, it was the loudest, and the greatest applause of the night. And it was not for President Obama. Instead, the nearly 2-minute standing ovation and applause was in honor of Army Ranger Corey Remsburg, who is recovering from injuries from his 10th deployment. I was in the room. I got to tell you, by far the most heartwarming part of the night, and I was honored to be there and applaud such a great American hero. And we bring in our Capitol Hill focus group of lawmakers. Welcome, all of you. Thank you for being here. Agree? Best moment of the night? Everyone agrees? All right. Now, we got to laugh at one moment of the night, and that was when the president said he's in the process of fixing America's broken health care system, which I want to start with. Let's roll that tape.
Few things exposed hardworking families to economic hardship more than a broken health care system. And in case you haven't heard, we're in the process of fixing that.
Congressman Louis Gohmert, by the way, I am here. I was your special guest last night. Thank you for having me, and it was an honor to come. It got a laugh. Can America's health care system work under Obamacare?
No, of course it can't. And by the way, as I told you, when you're about to enjoy something as pleasurable as a State of the Union address by this president, you want to share that with friends like you. Yeah. So I was glad you were there. But that was the joke of the night, and most of America got it. Yeah. It's not fixing health care, it's destroying it.
Does anyone think health care can be stopped? Show of hand. Because we've had this battle, the president kind of mockingly, you do think it can be stopped. How?
It's going to be stopped when the American people rise up, but also as Democrats understand that they can't get reelected if they're going to continue to defend Obamacare. That'll be the signal that we can undo Obamacare.
And it's the money. As people realize how much it's costing, they're losing. And it really does all go back to the pocketbook. And you're actually getting less people insured than before. The whole premise falls apart, and then you start paying for it. The American people aren't stupid. They'll get it.
Congressman Chaffetz, we made specific promises. If you like your care, keep your plan. If you like your doctor, keep your doctors. You've got to save $2,500 per family per year, none of which is happening. But yet, it's still the law of the land. And the president mocked a lot of you in this room tonight. If I say, we can't be voting 40-some-odd times to repeal, what's the best path towards repeal?
Look, the fundamental problem with this president is what he says and what he does are two different things. I've sat through 6 State of the Unions from this president. Best news is there's only 2 more left. But look, we have got to hold the line. We've got to keep reminding people time after time after time what the president said, what he's doing. It's a lie. It's not true. It's not going to fix this. And America will hopefully wake up.
Is it going to take the pain and the realization of higher premiums, losing your doctor, losing your care? Congresswoman, I know very early on, you were part of the repeal effort. Hasn't happened. You have you guys are in charge in the House, but not the Senate. You don't have the executive branch. So how do you do it?
Well, I just want to give the American people hope that there are members of Congress here that aren't going to give up. We're going to stay on the repeal train because that's hurting Americans. We want health care to be better, and we want people's lives to be better. My guest last night was a young female physician who wrote me last month and said, let me tell you how patient care has changed under Obamacare. I used to spend 90% of my time in patient care. Today it's 50% of my time, and 50% of my time I'm filling out paperwork, so that's hurting patients and it's hurting jobs in America. That's why she came. So because this is so bad, it's not reflective of what American health care is like, I know we're going to get rid of it.
But with that said, Congressman Sessions, there seems to be a divide among Republicans. The words we use are establishment and Tea Party. And it seems like there's a push on each side, and the Tea Party wants to push hard, and they want to fight on every issue. There seems to be a strategy evolving, though, among leadership that maybe we ought to just coast to the election, and Obamacare is going to help us keep the House and maybe get us a Senate. Is there a divide?
Well, look, what we're after is to win the Senate and win back the House. The reason why we've made the progress that we have is exactly of the men and women that are in this room today. We hold the majority. The divide comes when people are not exactly sure what the truth is. And the truth is we have held President Obama accountable. Over 40 votes. We've repealed over $80 billion worth of Obamacare up to now. But it takes us to have the Senate to where then we can sustain a filibuster. Then we can sustain the things that are our agenda. And
let's say we get the Senate. All right, so then we're told if the Republicans get the Senate, then we'll really be able to make change. Barack Obama's still president for 2 years.
Well,
then is the argument going to be, well, just give us until January 2017? Because I don't know, with $17 trillion in debt, $90 trillion in unfunded liabilities, and 50 million Americans on food stamps, if we can wait that long.
Well, the bottom line is that we're in 2014 and we're at 2008 spending levels for discretionary dollars. Next year we'll be in 2015 and we'll be back to 2007 levels.
Still $1 trillion in debt?
Well,
still $1 trillion deficit?
But you've got to reduce government spending. To be in 2016 and have 2006 discretionary spending levels is a victory, and that's what we told the American people we do. Now give us a Senate, and we can make more progress.
Congressman Burgess, you're from the great state of Texas. I talked to your governor. You're going to have a $13 billion surplus when you guys get back in session. You're in I guess, 2015. But you don't even have a state income tax.
No.
How are you able to accomplish that in Texas?
Well, it's just never happened, and the people will not allow it. They won't elect anyone who would be for it.
That's why it's on top of my list, because I'm not loved in New York anymore.
That's exactly right.
You might have heard about that.
And I'm telling you, the gates are open wide for you to move to North Texas. We'd love to have you. You know, when the president talked about his job creation and his energy plan, I was thinking the whole time, why don't you say God bless Texas? Because without Texas, your job creation is zip.
Yeah. You're from the great state of Wisconsin. Your governor, Republican governor, put in conservative principles, faced a recall. He had a huge, massive deficit. He's got a surplus. He's giving it back to the people of your state.
$1 billion tax breaks now going to middle-class Wisconsin families. If you don't want to go to Texas, you can come to Wisconsin. But listen, I think the big
Any other bidding going on here?
But on Obamacare, I think it's important that we're honest with the American people. If we're going to repeal it, we have to win elections. We're not going to be able to repeal it while we don't have the Senate. And we shut the...
But even if you have the Senate, you think you can repeal it?
Well, listen, we can put pressure on the president. No, listen, Harry Reid is stopping our bills. Let's put them on the president's desk. But one other thing, the president shut down the government.
Would ever sign that?
No, but listen, we're going to try to put pressure on him. But listen, we got to be realists too. The president shut down the government in October.
That's not what Speaker Boehner said on Jay Leno.
Funding stopped, right?
Right.
But Obamacare continued to roll out because they set it up to put the funding mechanism in mandatory spending. So we have to change the law if we're going to be effective. And just one more point on the speech, Sean. The president's trying to be compassionate and reach out to middle-class Americans. He was talking about people who had lost their health insurance before Obamacare. He failed to mention all the people who have lost their health care because of Obamacare, and that was a problem.
That's millions. All right, we got to take a break. We're going to come back, and we'll have much more with our focus groups.